You know, life, just like the passing years, has this way of throwing challenges at us. As time goes on, we find ourselves facing tests that help us grow, not just as people, but as humans. Some of those challenges bring out the best in us, no doubt. But others? They force us to dig deep and find strength we didn't even know we had. Those are the ones that teach us who we really are. And that's kinda how it is with people too. Every person who walks into our life, whether they stick around or only stay for a while, leaves something behind. Some people we barely remember, others we carry with us forever. Some come to teach us something, and others? Well, we're the ones who end up being the lesson. But here's the thing. No one ever leaves our life without leaving a mark. No one. And if you're here today listening to this, it's probably not by accident. There's something inside you that's been making it hard to rest. A fear, maybe, that's been keeping your heart and mind at war. A part of you wants to move on, like really move on. You're thinking, there's nothing left for me in this story. It's time to end it. But then, there's that other part of you that still wonders, what if there's something more? Maybe that's your hope talking. Maybe it's your heart not ready to let go just yet. So, before we go any further, how about taking a moment? Just pause. And if you feel like it, share in the comments. What's holding you back from moving on? What are you really afraid of? If you could put all your thoughts on a scale, which ones would weigh more right now? Seriously, take a minute to think about it. Writing it down might help you see things more clearly. And hey, thank you already for trusting me enough to let me be a small part of your journey. Is it easy to end a relationship? Honestly, for a lot of people, it's one of the hardest things in the world. It's tough, not just for the one who ends it, but also for the one who's left behind. From the outside, some folks think it's simple. Just break up and move on, right? But in reality, it's rarely that clean. And being the one who's left? That's no walk in the park either. Whether we like it or not, at some point in life, we all go through this. Sometimes we get stuck in these toxic cycles, not because we want to, but because we don't know how to let go. And the reason is simple. When you don't know how to end a relationship that's already run its course, it starts to mess with your mental health. Staying in something that no longer feels right, that can lead to stress, anxiety, sadness, emotional burnout, you name it. And here's where it gets even trickier. You finally gather the courage to end things, and then the other person says, "Please don't leave me, don't go." Now you're stuck again. Your heart says one thing, guilt says another. The truth is, for some people, ending things is black and white. Once it's over, it's over. But for others, it's emotional hell. They beg, they cry, they plead. And let's be real. If we have to beg someone to stay, isn't that already a sign that something's wrong? So here's the big question. Why do we keep trying to hold on to something that's already ended? Let's be honest. So many people know they're unhappy in a relationship. They don't feel safe. They don't feel close anymore. But still, they stay. Why? A lot of times it's because we're scared of hurting the other person. We think, if I break up with them, they'll be crushed, and it'll be my fault. That kind of guilt, it can be paralyzing. But stop for a second and ask yourself, are you really responsible for someone else's pain? Sure, breakups hurt, but aren't you both hurting more by staying in something that isn't real anymore? Aren't you doing more damage by pretending everything's fine, when deep down you know it's not? Look, learning how to deal with tough emotions, whether it's at work, losing someone you love, or going through a breakup, that's part of life. And one of the hardest pills to swallow? Accepting that you've been left. How many people are still together just because one of them refuses to let go? How many stay out of pity? I don't want to hurt them. Maybe we can fix things. Maybe there's still hope. Sound familiar? But here's the truth. Learning to accept that someone doesn't want to be with you anymore. That's one of the most important things you can do for yourself. It's not wrong to fight for love. But if the other person has already made their choice, why keep forcing something that's clearly over? Sometimes, when someone resists a breakup, it's not because they love deeply. It's because they're deeply attached. And there's a big difference between love and attachment. When we put our happiness entirely in someone else's hands, we're basically setting ourselves up to feel lost and broken the moment they leave. But here's the good news. Your happiness, that's yours. It's not theirs to give or take away. Never, ever forget that. So what do you do when someone says they don't want to keep going? What now? Look, sometimes it makes sense to fight for the relationship, but other times, it's about learning to let go. About knowing when it's time to say, this chapter's done. It's time to start a new one. Acceptance isn't about giving up. It's about taking control of what you can. You can't force someone to love you. You can't control their choices. But you can choose how you respond to them. And sometimes, the healthiest thing you can do is let them go. No begging, no chasing, no clinging. Because the truth is, nobody belongs to anybody, even if it feels like your person was yours forever. They're not a possession. They're a human being, a free soul. And just like they once chose to be with you, they've now chosen to move on, and you have to respect that. Real love is freedom, and it has to start with the love you give yourself. When you finally let go, the fear starts to fade. You'll realize that ending things wasn't the worst thing. It might have actually been the best thing. I know, it's not easy. And I know no one wants to go through this kind of pain. But sometimes, pain is part of the process. It's how we grow. So I hope you remember this. God has something beautiful in store for you. And right now, somewhere out there, someone's being prepared to meet you. Someone who's learning, growing, healing, just like you are. So be patient, have faith, and above all, trust. You're going to get through this. It'll take time, but you will heal. And if this message made you think, if it helped you feel even a little bit better, don't leave without sharing something in the comments. I'd love to hear your story. See you in the next video.